Did you go through a period, Nathan, where you questioned whether you wanted to continue?
Absolutely. I mean, for me, London was going to be a great experience for me. I had the plan since right after we didn't qualify a team that I was going to make myself the best that I could possibly be, qualify that spot, and just really peak for those games and make it my experience. And you know what? I was considering if things went as well as they should have there, then that was going to be it for me, a good highlight to my career. I mean, second Olympic Games competing at, and I was going to potentially retire after that. But then, of course, 6 weeks before the Olympics, I had surgery, and it was a real huge fight to get back into any sort of shape to be able to compete. And it was really hard. But by competition day, I really felt that I had a good shot of doing it. Of course, it didn't go as well as I would have hoped. And yeah, there was a lot of feelings of I was disappointed for myself, obviously. I thought I could accomplish a goal. Didn't end up working out. I felt guilty that I may have potentially taken a spot away from somebody that could have done a better job than me. I ended up throwing out all of my gymnastics stuff while I was at the games. Didn't bring any home with me. And when I got home, I was definitely done with gymnastics for a while. I really didn't want anything to do with it. But started thinking that it felt to me like I've been through so many struggles in my career, dealing with Addison's disease, dealing with injuries, dealing with everything, that to finish like that was going to be a real major cop-out. And I deserved to go out the way I wanted to rather than being pushed out by something that was out of my control. So I started training again, and I was ready to go by last national championships. Unfortunately, got injured again there. Ended up having shoulder surgery, but we're coming back strong from that one. This time I hope to put in a good performance. Of course, I'm not quite in great shape yet, but on my way certainly, and hoping that I can qualify for the Commonwealth Games, further along World Championships, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Since you made that decision and you've been back in the gym, apart from the injuries that you had to deal with, what's been the hardest part about getting back into that competitive mode again?
I think it really lacking really a major plan, because it was up to me. When it wasn't up to coaches' plans or anything, it was up to me. So I could think to myself, okay, I'm going to try to get ready for this competition. You'd get close enough and be like, no, I'm not ready for that. I'll just pull out of that one. And that was last year, and it was just really tough to find motivation and really actually set a goal and work towards it, rather than just kind of going, oh, well, not quite ready yet. And then so this year it's been really about having like structured plans, goals, everything, so that I could come back from this injury and I could compete at this national championships and potentially for the summer. So yeah. It was a bit tough. It was hard to keep motivated, that's for sure.
What was the actual last time that you competed?
I guess it was it was London, and then it was last year's national championships, and then I've competed twice this year so far. The University of Calgary International Cup was one of them. Competed at the Twisters event, just missed making the Pacific Rim team, and then so twice in the last couple months.
So now, when you look at this Canadian Championships, what kind of goals have you set for yourself?
I have a couple events, my more main events, I guess I could say, parallel bars and high bar, that I've have my medium type hard routines ready to go, and I will compete those, and those are my main focus, as well as, and then I have floor, pommel horse, and vault that are going to be a little bit easier here, but also getting through routines, hitting routines. I'm competing 5 events here, so getting through competition again where I compete that many events is going to be a challenge, and it's my goal just to get through.
Well, there's a new approach now on the men's team, which is get the start values up in at least a couple events for every guy on the team. Do you think you're still at the stage, after all the years you've been in the sport, 10 years on the national team, close to it,
yeah,
and all the injuries you've been through, do you think you're still at the stage where you can improve and boost start values to a significant degree in certain events?
Yeah, there's certain events definitely. Events like parallel bars and high bar, there's definitely always room to improve. And as they change the rules even, some of your strengths that you might have not been using for the last couple years, a rule change will make it so that, oh, a move that I learned a long time ago is actually something worthwhile. I have a big repertoire on PURs and high bars, so it makes it easy to kind of construct routines that are relevant to making a big high score at that time. But events like pommel horse, rings, floor, there's no chance that I'm improving. I hope to find a stable, relatively high start score, stable for me, so I can just always be a consistent competitor on those events.
How have you changed since you first joined the national team in terms of your mental approach to the sport?
Oh, there's been so many changes. I mean, when you first get on, you're a 17-year-old on the national team and you just think everything's hilarious, and you go to events and I don't even know if you sleep half the time. You're running around doing stuff. But now it's very calculated. There's a plan for every single day. I mean, I am 28 years old, so it's hard, you know. I'm tired, and so I have to be really careful about what I do. And of course, having Addison's that whole time, the way I've learned to cope with that and different techniques that I've picked up along the way has really shaped how I approach competitions now as well.
Now, I'm not going to dwell on this, but Addison's is something that you have all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't ever get cured or go away.
No. Yeah, and it's always changing. You think for a while that you have it well under control, but only 2 weeks ago I ended up in the hospital sick again, and it's just one of those things that will always be there, and you have to have at the back of your mind that, yeah, stuff can happen. It might not be good, but you have to bounce back from it quickly.
Now this summer, a lot of things going on. Commonwealth Games, Pan American Senior Championships. It sounds like your focus is trying to get to the Commonwealth Games.
Yeah, so we'll be creating 2 different teams. One will be traveling to Commonwealth Games, one will be traveling to Pan American Championships, and then a mixture of that group of guys will be creating the World Championship team later in the year. And so both teams are good teams to make, and both are important for sure. But yes, I am leaning towards Commonwealth Games. That is the goal for me.
And longer term, looking ahead to the next Olympics, and whether you decide to go that far or not, how do you think the chances are of the men's team rebounding from the disappointment of London and getting back in that top 12?
Well, from a team standpoint, I think the disappointment from not qualifying to London is long gone. We're in a new phase. Even the amount of competitors at this year's nationals is way higher than it was a couple years ago. So there's a way bigger pool of guys to choose from, a lot more competition, which makes a more competitive environment, which improves everybody, of course. And so I think everyone's working hard to make that. We haven't really even thought about it yet. There hasn't been a Team World since London, or qualifications to London, so we don't really know where we stand at this point, but we feel like we have a pretty strong group of guys to go forward with.